Hello there ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to what I painted this month, or should I say the last 2 months. Bam bam bam. Yep, that's right, as you may well know, at the start of November I was a bit ill, so I couldn't really get this video done, and this is the first opportunity that I've got to actually get this cranked out. So let's look at what I was able to get done first of all in October, and then we're going to look at the small amount of painting that was done in November, because I did actually get something finished off before illness struck. So as you can see here in this first image, this is October's offerings, which is 4 Stormcast Eternal Liberators. Then you can see there's a little bit of a Kings of War Undead unit filler there with some gravestones, and then behind them I finished off the rest of the castle. The toy castle, which for the very low price with a tiny bit of paintwork on it and a little bit of flock, I think it looks quite passable as a piece of terrain. So let's have a closer look at some of this, shall we? Starting with the little unit filler there. Now, I've grown quite fond of taking these gigantic units of undead, so zombie legions, skeleton hordes and so on. I want to try and get an army that just has an obscene number of them for the lols, just to see how it does. So of course I'm going to need more unit fillers, so this is the size of 4 models, a few gravestones so I can use it in the skeletons or the zombies units, nice and versatile that way. And of course, unless you put a billion of these things on, you're still going to be well within the minimum model requirement. Nothing particularly complicated about it, just some nice dry brushed gravestones. It's wash and dry brush I think, so 2 whole paint stages. Then of course we've got the sand and the grass on top of that, nothing too fancy going on there, so let's move on straight to the Stormcast Eternals, shall we? Okay, 4 Liberators. Now you might think 4 is a bit of a strange number, but that's because I'd already painted up 5 for one unit, and an extra one, which was the first one I did, which was the one that came free with the White Dwarf magazine. So of course, since they brought out the points values, it's now best to have the most models possible for that particular value, so 5 is the number you need, so I had to get another 4 painted up to be his little buddies, and as usual, it's a fairly lengthy process compared to my usual painting style, the Stormcast, with more highlighting than I would normally ever shake a stick at, but it's not overly complicated. There's a wash over the initial gold, and then there are 2 gold highlights over that. One of them just on all the edges, which you can see in this close-up stands out quite nicely. And of course the grey, lighter grey highlights on the black, and then the various white details and the bits of purple as well, like the hair and the weapons. Not too complicated at all. Get a nice look at the shields here from this angle, and the bit of scroll there on the front of the shield. I think those bits always look nice. And here they are with their buddy, who is now no longer alone. That's him in the centre there. I think he blends in quite nicely. The only real difference that I can see is that perhaps the lightning bolts from the hammer on his shield are a little bit thinner than everybody else, but I don't think that's going to be an issue. He matches up with them quite nicely. Then let's have a look at this fortress, which I got for the lofty price of about £17, I think it was. Something obscenely low for an entire fortress. And some of these pieces were already done, for example the towers I'd already painted previously, but I'd finally got round to finishing off all the walls and the little gatehouse there as well. It's nothing complicated here. Spray with grey, dry brush with a lighter grey, dry brush edges with white, boom, done. And the wooden parts, the little walkways on the back of the walls and the drawbridge, those were just dry brushed in brown, so nothing complicated there either. And then PVA glue, some really fluffy kind of mossy static grass on there, so I think that looks quite nice and breaks it up a bit, makes it look a bit more interesting. As we move down here you can see some more of the wall sections. I tried to be inconsistent with the moss, just to make it look a bit more fun. And the drawbridge here, which I've magnetised at the top, you can probably see the 2 little round magnets there sticking out above the arch. So that can just rest down on the ground like that, or it can be magnetised in the up position, which will stop it falling over. It wasn't too annoying to do that. It does actually come with a string, so you can actually turn the little wheel and wind up the bridge to the level you want. But I thought that was going to make painting a little bit annoying, having moving parts in there, so I thought magnets would just be easier. So for anyone who's not familiar with the brand of this castle, I'll put a link in the description, because it's very good value. Okay, now we're going to move on to what I painted during November. These were finished before illness struck, and these are a few ghouls / zombies. I've painted them like ghouls, and they're mostly ghoul parts with just a few zombie heads, but they can quite easily slip into the big zombie legion or a horde and fit in quite nicely, so giving myself some options. And of course one of them is just a little spinal cord with no legs, but I'm going to count that as a model, and why not? If you want to be a soldier, all you need is backbone. So these are very, very quick to do. A spray of a flesh colour, grey clothing, dry brush white over the grey clothing, paint the little eyes and teeth and so on, and then the almighty quick shade over the top. That's what I've done on almost all of my undead models, which makes them a lot faster to paint, and when you're painting hundreds and hundreds of zombies and skeletons, it makes it just about bearable. Well, not much more to say on them. So you've got 2 months worth of info packed into a single video here. And as far as what I'm going to get painted during December, I've already finished quite a few models actually, which people may have seen if they're part of the Facebook group. And I'll go into more info on how I painted those models, of course, at the end of the month. And I've got some more stuff here on the painting table which I'm hoping will be finished this month as well. And then maybe if I get all that done, I might be able to even move on to something else. But the next month is going to have a very heavy Dead Zone theme, since those are the miniatures I've already finished, and there's a big pile more of them right here, which are part way done. Also, more Stormcast Eternals as well. I'm trying to clear a bit of a backlog to make space, anticipating that perhaps the Age of Sigmar Dwarden could be heading our way fairly soon, so I don't want to have lots of projects backed up when they hit. If rumours are to be believed and they are arriving imminently, then I'll want to have a nice clean slate so I can just get on with them straight away. Well, that's it for now. I'll catch you next month unless I'm struck down by another mystery ailment. So, ta-ta for now.